Hello, I welcome you all to this small learning session on one of the most interesting and important concept in science, that is gravitation. In this video we will be talking about force, vertical motion, gravity, universal law of gravitation and some examples of gravitation as well. First let us talk about force. So here you can see book is kept on the table. If I ask you to move this book in this direction, how will you do it? Obviously you will use your hand and push the book from this direction. Actually what you are doing is applying a force F on this book, and because of this force the book moves in this direction. So we can say that whenever we apply a force, an object moves, and conversely we can also say that whenever something moves, it is because of the force that is being applied on that object. So keep this point in mind. It will be really helpful for our further discussion. Now let us talk about vertical motion. Here you can see a boy who is throwing a ball, and the ball moves in this trajectory. First the ball moves in the upward and in the right hand direction, and the resultant motion is this, as you can see here. Once the ball attains its maximum height, it changes its direction to right hand side and downward direction, and the resultant motion is in this direction, as you can see here. If you observe, the upward direction is now changed to the downward direction. Why is this the case? This is because an invisible force is acting on the ball, so that the ball is getting attracted towards the earth. So we can say that since ball is lighter and earth is heavier, the lighter object is getting attracted towards the heavier object, and because of which the ball falls. This invisible force is actually the gravity. We can understand gravity by this simple example. Here is an object A, and here is another object B. A is greater in mass and its mass is capital M. B is lighter in mass and its mass is smaller m. D is the distance between these two masses, and since this force is invisible, we cannot see it. Since it is attractive, so both the objects are getting attracted to each other, and the lighter object moves towards the heavier object. Since M, capital M, is more than smaller m, B, which is of lighter weight, will get attracted towards A. Gravity can be understood with the help of the universal law of gravitation, which states that every object in the universe attracts every other object with a force. So there is a force which is directly proportional. So this force is directly proportional to the product of masses. If you take example of these two objects, the masses are capital M and smaller m, so the product of masses would be capital M into smaller m, and inversely proportional to the square of distance between them, the distance between them. So the distance between these two objects is d, right? So we will write d square. We can represent this formula mathematically as F is equal to gmm by d square. Here g is the constant of proportionality. It is introduced because we have changed the proportionality sign to equal sign. This g is called the universal constant of gravitation. Its value is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. Here m is the mass of the object A, smaller m is the mass of the object B, and d is the distance between A and B. If we look at the definition it says that every object in the universe. So let us first take the example of all the objects that we can count. For example, sun, moon, earth, even a bird or a fruit on the tree attracts every other object. So it says that all these objects attracts all these other objects. So all these objects are attracting each other. We shall take some examples of this law of gravitation. For example, we know that sun is at the center of the solar system and earth is moving in an orbit. Sun is heavier and earth is lighter in weight. Earth usually should have moved in any of its desired direction in the space, and it should not have gotten affected by any of the other object, but in reality it moves in revolutions around the sun. This is because it is getting attracted towards the sun, because sun is heavier and earth is lighter. So same is the case with earth at the center and moon at the periphery. Moon is lighter and earth is heavier, so moon is revolving around the earth. Also, we can think of a very simple example of a tree with a fruit. Once the fruit is reached from the tree, it falls directly vertically downwards, right? It never holds on to its position. It never goes to any other direction. It never goes in vertically upward direction. It always comes down and falls onto the earth. This is because earth is heavier and attracting this lighter fruit towards it. So we have considered three examples: earth around the sun, moon around the earth, and falling off apple from the tree. So next time when you see all these phenomena, I hope you can explain this to any of your friends or anyone else. I hope you understood these concepts nicely. Thank you for being with me.